We found the best time to prepare our chicken is during service time because it is an overnight process and we always have to stay a few days ahead of our production. So these chicken thighs that you've seen have been defatted, tenderized. We are going to brine them overnight and then portion them into 2 different sizes for our different chicken sandwiches. Because we sell up to 200 chicken sandwiches a day, we found that pounding it out and tenderizing it not only gives us a better product for flavor, but it allows us to service our chicken sandwiches faster as well. Expectations for a food program in a bar are definitely different from a traditional restaurant. They need to come out in 4 to 5 minutes.
We launched the food program as chicken sandwich, partnered up with Mark Chow, our chef.
So when we get an order, the hot honey gets dredged in a little bit of our buttermilk slurry. From there, it goes into our dredge.
Because we opened in the middle of pandemic, and then there was period of time that we are only allowed to do outdoor and then delivery. People doesn't really know that much about our cocktail yet. Have a very popular hot honey sandwiches. You know, we have the line outside for the sandwiches.
I think at the time, it basically is more like whatever sell, we do it.
Yeah.
Because we really want to survive.
Gets a few generous dollops of our Thai basil aioli. And a drizzle of our house hot honey, which is a blend of citron peppercorns, some Thai chilies, and dried chilies as well.
We're at Lower East Side of New York, and this is Double Chicken Please. So Double Chicken Please is divided into 2 rooms. At the front, we serve all the cocktails on tap, and at the back, we have more like handcrafted cocktails. We close on Monday, so we can do like larger amount of prep. Our front room plus our back room, we have total like 26, 27 drinks already on the menu. In terms of prep, it's like a lot of amount.
This is a typical Monday for us. We have more coming, but we utilize a lot of liquor to do fat wash, like 20 to 26 bottles of whiskey, and everything looks a lot, but once you get done, it shrink to very little. These are our 2 head prep guy, Ray and Sumesh. So the thing Sumesh is prepping right now is a house-made corn syrup, which is going to go into the drink we call red eye gravy to represent that corn flavor in the dish.
So the red eye gravy is one of the oldest drink on our menu.
Our first edition menu, a lot of drink is actually inspired from certain dishes we like all around the world. For example, red eye gravy is a hippie breakfast back in 1970s from Florida. And we really like the flavor. So it actually tastes like corn. The corn syrup you usually get is like syrup. This is actually corn flavor. All right, so now we're done with the corn syrup. We're gonna start our house-made mushroom coffee butter. So we need to get this done on Monday because typically it needs around 24 hours to rest in the freezer to infuse the flavor. So we try to see how can we transform this flavor into a liquid form. And a lot of try and error, a lot of very not tasty drink we have made it before. Fat wash is simply just put in fat and spirits, infuse it and put it in the freezer. And then once the butter back to the solid form, you take it out, strain it out. So the spirit attach all the flavors with the butter. I don't think people really know how much butter actually go through to make that small cup of drink because you don't see the process. You only see the final product. Gonna start throwing all the ingredients. Dark roasted coffee beans, shiitake mushroom, and dry porcini mushroom. It's not necessary every drink need to be cooked, to processed like this way. It can still be a really phenomenal drink, like all the classic cocktail. It's tasty, but this is just more like the way we play with flavors and then get the flavor into the drink and try to share the palate we have. And this is what we're looking for. If you see the butter is very dark in a sense. It's almost like a brown butter. All right, now we're gonna strain it. At this stage, we pour 1 or 2 bottles of whiskey, sort of to wash all the ingredients to get the flavor into the liquid. So we will let it rest for approximately like an hour and then put it into freezer afterwards. And now we're gonna go strain our red eye gravy to get the house-made coffee mushroom butter for the chef. All right, this is our coffee butter. So just give it a quick taste. I think it's pretty solid, this batch. Yeah, definitely. Because it tastes a really subtle coffee note in the end, butter and tiny bit savory from the mushroom. And now I'm gonna start breaking the butter. So if you can see, we're back to like almost clear whiskey color-ish. Yesterday was totally like dark, but after the process fat wash, it's back to like clear, but a little bit more silky and very flavorful. After it is strained, we take this liquid as the base of a red eye gravy. So red eye gravy is a breakfast. Usually you have the very buttery sauce and then you put a shot of overnight coffee into it and pair with house-made corn syrup. Instead of using ham, we're using prosciutto with dehydrated. So we microwave prosciutto almost like a chip to represent that piece of country ham.
Red gravy.
So now chef gonna take over the butter to remelt it and use for our mushroom popper dish.
So now that the fat is melted, we're gonna load the mushrooms into the butter. They're really just vehicles for all that aroma and flavor, which is why we decided to use mushrooms for this composition. That's honestly the most fun part about working here, having all these savory components from the back menu drinks and then being able to repurpose them and use them in a sustainable way to make something delicious. So now that the mushrooms are cooling, we're gonna be making the pastry shells for the shiitake mushroom popper. This is a 18-month aged Comté cheese. So this is the shallot marmalade that gets cooked with the brandied raisins and the brandied raisin butter from the butter raisin biscuit drink. So this beet soil is the beet pulp from the New York beet salad drink. Kind of tastes like corn. That's the dish.
Normally, first thing first, when we come into the bar, first thing is cut ice. We used to freeze our own ice, cut it, and then shave it. We give that the idea because we don't have that much freezer space. So now we buy this 2x2 ice cube, and then we shape it piece by piece, take out the corner. Each ice cube have lots of like sharp edges, and that's the point that the water start melting. We do this technique, just take out the sharp edges, and then let the ice melt a little bit slower. One thing for the aesthetic, but another thing is for dilution. Honestly, this is not a specific technique. It's really time consuming, but it's for better quality. So I think it's worth the investment. If you're more hands-on on all the stuff you make, probably the only thing in that glass you didn't make it is the glass. Everything else, you made it. So this is brioche bread. We're gonna bake it till a little bit burnt, a little bit like crusty, a little bit like burnt toast we call. And then we're gonna infuse with alcohol and use that into a drink. So right this moment we are processing all the bread, layout, and then putting it into the oven to bake it. And it smells really good after you bake it. It's just beautiful smell. So French toast is almost like a flick. It's a style of drink that contains whole egg. So it's creamy, it's rich, it's fulfilling, desserty. It's based on where I'm from. The current recipe is a burnt toast with whole milk, whole egg, coconut water, maple syrup. You definitely cannot miss maple syrup.
When you tell your friends you work in a bar and they say, "What did you do today?"
I'll just say I'll make toast. So I'm just blending all the maple syrup to all the toast to make sure they have like evenly spread out.
The city I'm from, Tainan, everything has sugar based on history. So I have sweet tooth. So here we go. A lot of cooking and sous vide for all the different ingredients. Each Cambro have maybe 6 to 7 bags in different ingredients, different for different drinks. This is the tea leaves, tea kavalan we say. It's a oolong tea with Taiwanese whiskey. Here we got basil cordial, which is fresh sweet basil with some sugar, citric acid, water, and lime zest. This is a toast. This way we can sous vide. Otherwise, if it's not vacuum, with lots of air, it will just like floating on the top. So people probably don't realize there's so many time and prepping work behind all the drinks, but which is the fun part for us actually. And clearly we need more space. I'm gonna put this here. So each water bath also have different temperature. because certain ingredients have to cook at certain temperature to get a flavor out, and then we come back to strain it out and utilize that into drinks. This is our house-made double chicken please Oreo. So this is thing in my head for a long time. I really want to make it happen. This piece represents a espresso martini flavor of Oreo. At a certain moment, we did outsource somebody to do it.
Like
It's
an actual professional.
It's an actual
chocolatier.
professional chocolatier, and they f it up. It's just like all the pieces, it's not detailed. It's just not as good because we care, I think. And the fun part is actually we pair with a house-made chocolate Oreo, which is inspired from espresso martini. So imagine a Saturday, Sunday, beautiful out, you're sitting outside, have a French toast as your breakfast, and you're holding a glass of espresso martini to cure your hangover. This is actually reverse pairing. You are drinking your French toast, eating your espresso martini. So you have a sip, have a bite, have a sip, have a full experience. It's just a fun way to enjoy and to experience.
It's French toast.
At the same time, doing a lot of juicing upstairs, from lime, lemon to cucumber, pineapple, all fresh juice going to the cocktail. We use slow juicer, try to get higher yield. This is going to one of our most popular drink, Japanese cold noodle. So Japanese cold noodle is a drink that actually I created back in 2016. At the time, I was competing. Bacardi Legacy is one of the cocktail competition in the world. We juice the amount we need every day. Especially we juice the cucumber like mostly peeled, but not everything peeled. The skin have a certain green flavor. We want to keep a little bit, but not too much. Drink is cucumber, pineapple, lime, so it's juice. So the cost is quite low, but the flavor together is actually really interesting. So people likes it. Per day we sell around like 70 or sometimes go about to 80. But just that one drink really paid the rent, keep the lights up for this place. I still cutting, still the last bag to go. In the same time, we're gonna start batching our Japanese cold noodle. So let's start with pineapple. Yeah, this drink is actually, it looks simple because all different juices, but it's actually kind of tricky because it all rely on the flavor of juice. And when we open this place, we change the name. It's because the drink is actually resonate the cold noodle flavor from Japanese style cold noodle. When I was working at Angel Share, all my colleagues say that drink tastes like that. So I think that's fun. That's how people connect with the flavors. Also, I don't want people to order a drink just because it's a award-winning drink. So we changed the name to Japanese cold noodle, and it actually works really well. Yeah, I would say the pre-batching stage is not that pretty, but just because it's a volume. We need to be more efficient in making drinks. Everything that's over 20%, like 40 proof, will last for a couple weeks, no problem. But for this is lighter and more fresh stuff. We basically just make a little bit more than what we go through a day. Sometimes when the volume gets so big, you need to adjust the flavor a little bit here and there to make sure the flavor is still consistent. But even just same juice every day, it still tastes different. So it just require a lot of tasting, adjusting to make sure the flavor is consistent. The drink basically is my story from Taiwan to New York, from east to west. So it's like a pina colada-ish of drink and blended with cucumber salad, the ingredients, like cucumber juice and dashed sesame oil, that's it. So it's like put the story together, how I become the GN now. There you go, Japanese cold noodle. In the front room, all the drinks come in the tap, like tap system. It's all cocktail. Right this moment, we don't serve any beer. Everything's a cocktail. Most of them are ready for today. Only one or two we still need to adjust the flavor and then hook it up, charge it, and ready to go. I'm gonna batch this, and as you can see, kitchen is getting ready for the service. Today, Faye is also on the line. Short-handed, everybody cover different position. For the cake drink, it's actually also pretty straightforward. We mix all the ingredients. A lot of ingredients are house-made. For example, like this one is infused with shiso. It's almost like a limoncello from Italy-ish. Yuzu juice, agave syrup, and then house-made cold brew coffee. have to be cold infused for 3 days. Now it's ready. So basically just blended all the ingredients. But for this one, this is actually go on nitro. So nitro won't really change the flavor. It only change the texture of the drink. So this one, I have to make sure the balance is perfect, is right, and then I put in the cake and charge it. That's pretty much ready to go. All right, now we're ready to charge. This is our small cake room. So now we'll hook it on. Give it a nice shake. All right, that's what I'm set. Every day I will give a quick taste about our drinks to make sure the flavor is. Yeah, this is my favorite. It's a new addition. It's an espresso yuzu martini. That's my favorite.
So far, me and Jian and Ben, we're all coming from like a pretty high volume bar before, I would say. So our speed is, we had trained for like years. And then we have our second generation bartender on the line, and we also train them pretty hard up to our speed so that we can make sure everyone is in a really fast pace. Yeah.
Ben is doing our newest addition on the menu, which is key lime pie. I think that also rely on like the system Faye and Ben have created, which is every drink we streamline to like 2 or 3 bottles, so we can easily build a drink in a very short period of time to handle this volume.
This is a pretty normal occurrence about like an hour before the shift starts. Is once we've done a lot of the more advanced prep, it's just a line of people just batching cocktails for service. You know, our style of bartending, using like cobbler shakers and more that kind of Asian style, doesn't necessarily lend itself to speed. So we try to take as much of the time required during service out of the equation by just kind of making sure we get as much of the like advanced prep done as possible, so we can make sure that cocktails come out in a reasonable amount of time. So yeah, this is like a riff on a Ramos Gin Fizz, which is kind of known as being one of the most, I don't want to say annoying, but labor-intensive cocktails to make. I think the original recipe called for like a 19-minute shake. So doing as much as we can to minimize time of the order is great. So we batch as much as we can. You know, so it's basically when we make this during service, it's just the batch, then fresh lime, egg white, and just top with soda.
I think design is my background. I would say I studied industrial design, a little bit graphic here and there. When I invite Faye to join this project, I say we want to do a bar with very design-oriented concept. For example, we design the concept, design the glassware, design the flavor, and put it together. For example, our newest creation, either cold pizza or key lime pie, it's all have a design element. When you see the glassware, when you see the logo on it. Now we slowly treat every single drink that we create as a design product to make the most out of it, not just the flavor. Also the look, intentionally design that we can use the drink further down. Cold pizza. Last week is one of the biggest week we ever had, even just 5 days where we break the record. You know, today we have decent amount of cover, so you know, no more slow day ever. So we just rock and roll.
All right, have a good service.
Have a good service.
It's 10 to 5, and we just wrapped our family meal and had a brief meeting, and I'm going back down to the kitchen. Have a good service.
Right now we're in the service. We have 2 stations. Overall, this is a shaking station. That's a stirring station. So we separate the tickets, stir drinks, shake drinks. Depends on the situation.
So Faye, you should be bringing 1 more popper, and you should be close on 2 chicken wings right now. Fill 2 chicken wings, please. You're gonna go to bar 6, table 7. Next fire, baby artichoke. Mike, fire ceviche, razor clams, 2 poppers. Faye, fire 2 honey. So 2 hot honey at 3, please.
So it's a half dozen oysters and the blue crystal prawn ceviche, right?
Correct.
I got you.
And like, how do you make sure that the bar moves fast enough?
just move faster. No, I'm kidding.
I think overall, I just want people to have a good time. That's it. Lots of things we do, we actually want to make people laugh. No matter the decor, the drink, the food, the service. Feel free to ask any question about menu. Thank you. Like the back room, the drink, and the front room drink is so different. The back cocktail seems more sophisticated, but we do a lot of like explaining how we do this, how we do that. But honestly, those things people not necessarily need to know. As long as you like the flavor, you like the space, you have a good time, we are happy with it.
I mean, everyone goes to bar for different reasons, right? So no matter what reason, as long as when the moment that you walk out the store, at least you feel like happy, you feel like your money spent worth it. I think that's my goal.